What's going on? Today, we're going to talk about the different types of personalities that are out there in the marketplace. And as a leader, as a business owner, and as an entrepreneur, you want to learn which one you are so you can relate better with the people that are on your team. One thing that I learned from my mentors is that if you understand yourself, it's much easier to understand other people. So the first person you need to study and analyze and get to know is you. Okay, my name is Michael Barayev, and I was able to build a team of 150 plus sales guys in less than 2.5 years, and we did it with zero money invested. And now we have offices that are growing from coast to coast like butter on toast. So what I want to talk about is the Myers-Briggs personality test, right? And I took that test a few years ago, and it was an incredible eye-opener for me to understand who I was as an individual, right? Because the better you understand yourself, the better it is to be able to relate to other people. So today I'm going to kind of break down not all the different personalities, because you can do that on your own time, but what I will do is break down some of the main parts of the different parts of personalities, right? So there's 4 major questions you need to ask yourself. Number 1 is, are you outwardly or inwardly focused? Okay, and we're going to talk about that. There's extroverts and there's introverts. So let's talk about extrovert. An extrovert could be someone that can be described, I'm going to kind of read a little bit with some of the notes. An extrovert can be described as someone who's talkative, who's outgoing. They like to be in a fast-paced environment. They tend to work out ideas with others, and they think out loud, and they enjoy being the center of attention. I mean, obviously you guys know that I'm an extrovert, and some of you guys may relate with that. But there's a way to communicate with extroverts, and you need to understand that not all extroverts, okay, not all extroverts are gonna act the same way, but you have to identify, is this person an extrovert? Or, like we talked about in a second, is about the introvert, right? So what is an introvert? It's a complete opposite, right? They could be described as reserved, private. They prefer to have a slower pace with time for contemplation because they like to think a lot. And they tend to think things through inside of their head. They don't usually communicate out in the open. They're not like extroverts who want to talk out loud and communicate out loud. They're usually thinkers, right? And you can gauge by knowing who's a thinker by who's quiet. If a person's always outgoing, talking a lot, they're an extrovert. Okay, you need to know how to deal with that individual, right? An introvert also would rather, think about this, they would rather observe than be the center of attention. So if you have a team of 10 extroverts and 10 introverts, you cannot expect the introverts to behave the same way as the extroverts, and you cannot communicate the same way with the extroverts as you would with an introvert. You have to know what makes them tick. If you try to put the introvert in front of the whole room and have them talk when they're not prepared for that, you're going to make them nervous, they're going to be upset, they're not going to like that, it's going to make them feel extremely uncomfortable in a wrong way. Like, for example, Matthew over here is not an extrovert. He is a complete introvert. He's always thinking in his head. Nothing wrong with that. It's just who he is, right? And sometimes as an extrovert, you might say, oh my God, this guy's a loser. He doesn't want to freaking talk. He doesn't want to be open. No. That's his personality type. So you need to learn how to be a chameleon and identify who that individual is and relate with them, because that is how you're going to build a massive team, whether it's employees or even salespeople, right? So answer those questions. Which one are you? Are you an extrovert or an introvert, right? The second question you want to ask yourself, how do you prefer to take and process information? Okay, there's 2 types of people when it comes to that. There's the person that is sensing, right? Which is basically someone that focuses on the reality of how things are. They pay attention to concrete facts and details. They like to know the details, right? They prefer ideas that have practical applications. They like to describe things in a very specific and literal way. That is a person that's very sensing. Okay, now the opposite of that, the opposite of the sensing individual is someone that's intuitive. It's intuition, right? They imagine the possibilities of how things can be. They notice how the big picture is and how everything connects. They enjoy ideas, concepts, right? For themselves, because they need to see the vision. Like, I'm an intuitive individual. I need to see the vision. I need to understand, where am I going? What am I trying to accomplish? What I'm trying to accomplish, right? We also, the intuitive people, the intuition, they like to describe things in a very figurative and poetic way. Right? A lot of intuitive people are very romantic, I would say, right? And they love to be in that kind of space of dream, vision, la land sometimes. The sensing individual is a little bit different. They want practicality, they want logic, right? They want shit done in a very specific way. So if you try to talk to someone that's sensing about the vision, the cause, the mission, they're going to like it for a little bit, but you got to understand, like, you're going to lose them if you talk too much about the vision, not too much about the practical stuff. So you need to identify what is important for that individual. So that's number 2, right? Number 3 is, how do you prefer to make decisions, right? If you're a thinking individual, this is how you make decisions. You make decisions in an impersonal way using logical reasoning. Sometimes people that are in the thinking personality, they can rub people the wrong way because they sometimes feel like you don't care, right? They value justice. They value fairness. They enjoy finding the flaws in the argument. They love to debate, right? They can be described as reasonable and level-headed. Very logical individuals, right? They're all about thinking. It's a thought process for them. Everything is about thinking. The opposite side of that is the person that is feeling, right? They base their decisions on personal value. and how their actions can affect other people. They're very empathetic. They're very warm. They like to please other people and point out the best in people. They try to find the best in other people. They value harmony and forgiveness, and everything should be amazing, right? So at the end of the day, a thinking person and a feeling person are completely two different people. You got to learn how to relate with each individual. Very important. Remember, you're going to have different types of personalities. You may have an extrovert that is a feeler. You may have an extrovert that's a thinker, right? You got to understand there's different personalities. There's 16 of them, which is how you can kind of mix and match with this, right? The last question you want to understand and identify about yourself is, how do you prefer to live in your outer life? Think about that. Your outer life, when you're out there and out and about. So the judging person, they prefer to have matters settled. Ooh, they love this, right? They think rules and deadlines should be respected. They prefer to have detailed step-by-step instructions. They like systems, they like processes, they like making plans. They want to know what you're getting into. They want to know what they're getting themselves involved in. They understand the system and the process. Like, I'm the kind of person, right? That's literally, I'm a judging person, right? Because I need to understand, like, what am I getting myself involved in? I need to understand. If I don't understand this, you cannot get me to move. I need to understand, right? Very important. The other person, right, the complete opposite of that is the perceiving person. They live their life with perceiving mentality. They prefer to leave options open. They don't like to be held down. Right? They like to have options open. They see rules and deadlines as flexible, okay? They like to improvise and make things up as they go. Go with the fucking flow, YOLO mentality, right? YOLO schmolo, okay? They're very spontaneous. They enjoy surprises and new situations, right? So that's the person that's very perceiving. My question to you is very simple. Asking yourself these 4 questions, which one are you? And if you don't know, you can go online, do Myers-Briggs personality test, and figure out who you are. It's going to be a bunch of questions to figure out who you are as an individual. And then I want you to look at, right, identify what kind of people do you hang around with? Because a lot of times what we tend to do is tend to hang out with people that are similar to us. But if you want to build a massive organization and a massive team, you need to understand that you need to be able to relate to different personality types. I'll give you an example. Perfect example. Matt is an introvert individual. Do you agree, Matt?
Yes.
Now, I'm an extrovert. Can you agree with that?
Absolutely.
But do we have a great relationship?
Yeah.
We have an amazing relationship. Would he sit there and say, I'm his best friend, even if we spend time for 10 years? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But there's still a way for me to be able to relate to him and understand him and listen to him, be empathetic to him, have an understanding of who he is and what he likes and what he's about to make sure I can guide him in the right direction. You still got to learn as an extrovert how to relate with someone that's an introvert. If you were a sensing person, you need to learn how to deal with someone that has intuition. I'm an intuitive individual. Like, sometimes a sensing person can drive me bananas, but I have to learn, how do I relate with that individual? How do I compromise with that person? How do I communicate with that person? What do they like? What do they dislike? How can I make them feel more comfortable? Whatever it may be, right? So you need to identify those things. And once you understand that there's different types of personalities, right? And you can figure out what's important for each individual, you can have a massive team. Of a team of 150 guys, when we used to have 150 guys, there was no way in hell that I was liked by everybody. But I still had a good understanding of all these different personality types to be able to relate somehow. And if I didn't know how to relate with them, I at least could understand some of them and have some of the people on my team who could relate with them have a relationship with them. And it's a big dynamic of growing, your team with other people, with other help, with other leaders, because remember, you cannot do it by yourself, but the faster and the better you learn about these personality types, and the faster you understand the different types of personalities that are out there, you can relate and understand people 10 times better. Remember, when people feel understood, they will like you. And if they like you, they're more willing to follow you and more willing to listen to you and understand what you want. A lot of people as leaders, they think about, I want to get people to do what I want them to do. That doesn't work that way. You have to get good. You have to get good and really good at understanding other people first. And by default, if you understand them, they're going to take the time to understand you. If you're in a dating situation, right, as a man or as a woman, as an example, if you're a man, you should be freaking figuring out what's important to the girl. Ask her question. Be interested in her. Stop trying to be interesting. Guys, nobody gives a shit about you. Stop trying to show off your money, your cars, your this, your that, what you're doing, all this shit. Nobody cares. The only person that should care is you and your freaking mom. That's it. You want to have your mom love you? Call your mom. Hey, mom, I just did this today. She's going to love you more than anybody. Okay? My mom, I tell my mom everything. Like when I have a success in my business, I'm like, Mom, I had a great day today. I did this and this and that. She's like, oh, my son, I love you so much. That is the person I need to come to and talk about, about my successes. But when I'm talking to someone that I'm in the dating process, they don't give a shit. They shouldn't give a shit. I should give a shit about them. Because the more I understand about them, it's much more easier for them to open up and be vulnerable to understand who I am and what is important to me and my needs. Remember, it's not about you. When you make it about you, you go through a dirty little ditch. But when you make it about other people, it's 10 times easier for people to buy into you and your vision and your goals and your dreams once they feel understood. Hopefully this content has changed your life and impacted you in a positive way. Don't forget to go do that test. I don't make no money by you doing that test, but I think it's going to help you tremendously. Drop me a DM or a comment if this video has helped you, or if this test has definitely changed your mind a little bit and helped you figure out who you are as an individual, right? And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, if you have not yet, liked and commented on this video, do me a favor, do that little action for us, because that's the only way that I can get a little thank you from you guys, is if you subscribe, share this video, like and comment, because it means the world to me when you guys do that. So we're pushing for 100,000 subscribers on this channel like we did for TikTok and Instagram, so we need your support. So we'll see you guys on the next video.